So I have this listing. It is gorgeous. It's very, very spacious. 6,089 square feet.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And funny, that's the problem. It's 6,089 square feet.
Welcome to the latest episode of We Fixed Real Estate. Today we got three real important topics to go by you. We're going to give a deep dive into a particular property and answer the question, when is a house too big?
So I have this listing. It is gorgeous. It's to give you the address, and we'll put up all the Zillow things so you could see it and see the pictures of it and how pretty it is. It's at 18471 Corte Pala in Morgan Hill, California. Now, if you don't know where Morgan Hill is, that's one of the issues. It's about, let's say, 12 miles-ish south of San Jose. So with no traffic, it takes about 55 minutes to get to the San Francisco airport. Kind of give you an idea of how far and where, but look at it. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. It was Toll Brothers. This is the fourth phase, the last phase. So they worked out all the kinks. So everything works really well. And as you can see, it's very, very spacious. 6,089 square feet.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And funny, that's the problem. It's 6,089 square feet, which is 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths. So every bedroom has a bathroom. There is a first floor suite. So if you have elderly people, parents, grandparents who want to live on the first floor, it works. And then upstairs, you see one side of it is the entire master suite, and the other side is 3 bedrooms. And obviously the bedroom on the first floor totals 5. The main bedroom is just gigantic. It's actually maybe too big for some people. And that's the interesting thing I get. They love people love the house, and it's like, but it's too big. And my clients thought, oh, this would be great. You see, look at the bottom picture. Yeah, scroll up here. Nope.
I'm trying to figure out how to get to it.
Nope, there we go. So you see, here's the primary bedroom. Whoops.
Is it floor 2?
Yeah, floor 2. Here it is. So
22 feet by 31 feet.
Yeah, you do the math. That's pretty big. And it connects through to the primary bathroom, and then the gigantic closet. As you see, the primary closet. Okay. So you have all this open area, and I just probably saw in the pictures earlier, but the bedroom's pretty big. Once you put a king size bed in there, it's still pretty big. So
the
you have to
primary
put
closet is 22 feet by 11.
A shoe lover's dream. Yes.
Holy moly.
Holy moly. You can put, your summer, winter, spring, and fall collection in there, and it is single barred, but if you double barred this thing, it would be even crazier. So the house is
This is
big.
a Sex and the City closet.
I'm sorry?
The TV show Sex and the City with the fashion. Carrie.
Yes. It's bigger than Carrie's closet for sure. So,
wow.
Yeah. So it's a big house. And I mean, unfortunately, that's the problem that some people have. They just have told me, it's kind of big. So, it's priced properly. The other problem is Morgan Hill. So as I was saying, let me go back to that. It's about 12 miles south of San Jose, which people have in their minds that the commute to, let's say, NVIDIA or Apple is going to be forever and take you forever. Yeah, maybe. It depends on your version of forever. um, if you can afford this house, why not? It's too bad there's no Waymos running there. Because if
Yeah.
there was Waymos running there, you could take a Waymo up and back and work in the car. And it gives you and save yourself $4 million from having to buy something in Cupertino that's equivalent. So even going the other way into Palo Alto, I mean, this would be some ridiculous priced house. And it's a great house. It's actually still under warranty until August of this year. Um, Sellers haven't had any problems, no reasons to bring back Toll Brothers to come and fix anything. It just works. So it's an interesting house. It's an interesting dilemma that it may be too big. The competition is about 4,500 square foot houses, lower ceilings, kind of the older versions of these from 1, 2, and 3, phases 1, 2, and 3,
Mhm.
and where they didn't figure things out. So interesting house. Obviously, seller would love to sell, and tell us what you think. Is there a house that's just too big? The buyer bought it thinking, "Hey, this is great. I have all this space." Now it's kind of coming back to hurt a little bit because it narrows how many people are going to want to buy.
Mhm.
But if you got 3 teenagers, probably have to put in an extra refrigerator in the garage, but other than that, there's plenty of room for them, plenty of room for their stuff. If you like furniture, you can put furniture all over the place. Sellers, they're great, and, we'll just keep plugging away. This is the kind of listing where you just have to put it up. We're having a Zillow showcase that we offer to all of our sellers, by the way. Um,
And it's gonna Morgan Hill is a great area. I mean, it's
it's
you have to
it's
think
up
in
and
the you have
coming
to
like
think
crazy. So
you have to
here's the
think in the
thing.
future. Right now, it seems like it's on the outskirts, but 20
It
years from
really
now, it's
isn't.
gonna be right in the center.
There's so much development. There's a downtown that's got great stores and restaurants, and the train comes there. It During the week, it goes every other train that would normally go from San Jose to San Francisco. They're supposedly running them on the weekends, but don't quote me on that. I've just heard that's happening. So it's not that bad for public transportation wise to get up and back. And things are being built. You have everything. Your Home Depots, your
Mhm.
In and Outs, your Starbucks, all the generic stuff that you would possibly need, supermarkets. It's all there. And obviously stuff can get delivered. So it's quieter. Schools are getting better because there's smarter people moving in, pushing the teachers to be better. So in a few years, it's going to be crazy down there. It's just the fact that you can't build a lot of good, solid single family houses in the million and a half, couple $1 million range in locations that are close to everybody's work in the peninsula. It's just a fact. There's no physical land to do it. So, and of course, the cost and the time. Um, Hopefully we'll see development around train stations, but that's condos. That's not going to be singles. Singles are still going to have to go somewhere. And between San Jose and Morgan Hill, the space in between there's little pockets that they were able to build on, but a lot of it is federally owned or mountainous, so they can't. So this is the next big thing for residential real estate in the Silicon Valley.
Very, very interesting. Now, transitioning from new homes, new construction to old construction, there's the next new thing for older homes that may need new sewers.
So my big thing is I tell people when they buy a house or when we list a house, we get a sewer video. It's something that most agents don't even think about, don't even know. And the idea is that nobody knows what's going on inside those sewer lines. It's unless you have cameras stationed in there, which nobody does. So you run a line, you kind of stick it down and run this cord that's metal, a scope, and then they shoot it down there. And you can actually check for some of these on YouTube if you're really excited. But if it's a problem, normally they got to dig up the street, tear out all the bad whatever it was built with,
Mhm.
replace it with, big pipes and all that. Not anymore, as they would say. So these guys, this companies developed this method of putting in, it's kind of a liner that's made with a type of plastic that also seals itself to the existing pipe so that you don't have to rebuild it like you did the other pipes. And they kind of stick it down there. Like think of a giant balloon that eventually goes all the way down and pops at the end, and then it sticks to the pipes. It's something new,
I'm
something
not sure.
great, and it's going to last a long time too.
It does, and I'm not sure if I'm using the older technology, but I did that to our house. So our house is an older house, 1960, with clay pipes, and at least the service that I did, it's almost like it's a Kevlar epoxy sock that they shove in, and then when they
Hmm.
pull it back out, it folds in on itself and then hardens in the shape of a pipe.
That's pretty
So
much
it
what this
it
thing is
lines it
doing.
with about
Yeah,
a half an inch, and the benefit of that Kevlar epoxy is it's super slick and stuff doesn't stick to it versus clay, steel that's rusted, so you
right.
tend to have a nice flow.
Exactly. If you have a tree in front of your house that's old, you should do a sewer video just to check on it because the roots have gotten in even through steel. Steel deteriorates, rusts, all that kind of stuff. So check your sewers, people.
Absolutely, that's
If you got,
exactly what happened to ours right after we bought our house, and I had it
of
lined, so I
course.
can recommend at
Okay,
least the
so
older version
so
of it.
if you're buying a house, get it done. Get it as a
Mhm,
contingency.
mhm.
Don't just do home inspection. Make sure you do termites, or if you're in like Seattle, get mold in case there's something going on. But everywhere you should be getting sewer.
Scope the sewer.
It's a real crock.
How old would you estimate the house should be to do a sewer check? Like, if the house is 2 years old, there's no point in doing it.
No, no. I mean, the sewer line should be good unless there's that again, that tree that's old that's been there and maybe has run its way into it, especially plastic that soon. Um, if you have
So
backups, obviously.
say you do have the contingency, you're like, "We wanna scope this thing, we wanna see the sewer." Is it then do you counter saying, "Hey, it's estimated $12,000 to reline this sewer. I wanna take that off the."
I have a better story for you. Well, we represented a buyer in Burien. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's just out of Seattle, Washington. They bought a house that was right on the water. Um, that was at the bottom of the development. So you had to like come up from the top, drive down a couple of driveways, and you finally would get to the bottom. You get to that house. We did a sewer scope. Big problems with that sewer. And the other on top of this problem was the fact that the sewage had to be pumped up to get to the actual sewer line because they were below where the main line was.
Jeez.
So the problem was they had to dig everything up, put a new thing in, put new pumps in. $125,000 later that the seller paid, then we closed. So if you get that sewer done, you're more likely to, have the seller pay for it then, as opposed to waiting till after you buy it. And then it's like,
You're stuck
it's
with a
ugly and,
$125,000
and,
bill.
and not covered by homeowners insurance, or I should say, and not covered by a warranty. So be careful out there, kids. Check your
Well,
sewers.
if we're doing sewer stories, I can tell you the first home I bought, and I was in my late 20s, it was in El Granada, California, just north of Half Moon Bay. and the house we bought was at the bottom of a hill. And that if you've ever seen El Granada, it goes up a canyon. So there's a
Hmm.
thousand, there's like 400 homes above ours. Um, 3 months after we moved in, woke up and I heard their dogs were like splashing down below. Our house was the low point on the main sewer line.
Uh,
There was a backup below our house. The entire upward houses all was flowing through our lower toilet. There was a stream about 3 feet tall coming out of our lower toilet. The entire thing was flooded with sewage. It took us 6 months to mitigate that because it didn't have a
yeah.
backflow prevention device in front of our sewer line.
I assume you disclosed that to the when you sold it, but it had already been fixed.
Well, that was about 8 we had I had that about 5 years from then, and it had already been fixed. I don't know. This was, 20, 30 years ago, so I don't remember.
Okay. Always disclose it, kids. Repair it, disclose it, show the receipts. Also important stuff when you go to sell. Anyway, yeah, that's the sewer
On to
update.
on to cleaner topics. Let's talk about AI and home pricing.
God, we love AI. It's helping us so much. And it's helping everybody. I tell my buyers, if you're gonna go look at a disclosure package with all the inspections and all that, besides the prompt of saying I'm scared first time buyer and tell me what the union prices are to fix it so it'll give you the highest price. Um, we've been using ChatGPT specifically for that because everybody's been using it since ChatGPT came out. So it is flooded with data
Mhm.
and it probably has the best data. Now, who knows? But it's a best guess kind of scenario. But the other problem is you're a seller and you're a buyer looking at the same property. And you go into AI and you start saying, "What's my house worth?" And there's more to it than that. But it knows you're the seller, and it seems like it's trying to tell you how good it is.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're a buyer, it's trying to tell you how bad it is so you can
Interest
negotiate. So, it's what I like to do with these type of things is really pin it down and say, look, give me every single house that's similar within a mile, close within the last 30 days, and give me the differentiations between the two. Go at it like you are an appraiser. And that's a key thing. If you ever seen an appraiser, you see it's like 40 pages. Really, it's about 4 pages of data. And there are these adjustments. There's one box that has the house that's being appraised and then three other comps, or it can go to another page for three more, up to three more. And it says, okay, inferior. So subtract 25,000 compared to this house. There's actual data points that the appraisers use all the time. You want the AI to be able to do that as opposed to just saying, hey, it's worth, you know, $500,000. And then for the seller and the buyer's thinks it's worth 450, and then you guys are going to fight it out. Um, so you got to be really, really intense and really careful and ask it to be an appraiser, not just give you a value, but you want to appraise it. And I think you're going to get better information from there.
well, yeah.
Tell it to take away any bias for the fact that you're the seller or the buyer. You want the bare bones activity of just giving me what it's going to really be worth in the marketplace. And the fact that it will always appraise, well, not always, but most of the time it will appraise. Reason being that the appraisers know the sale price before they do the appraisal. Which, if they didn't have that, the real estate world would collapse. I mean, values will go up or down, but probably down if they want to be conservative. It's an opinion of value in appraisal. It's not an exact science. So there are things they make called a time adjustment. So if things are going up and up and up and up and up every week, prices get higher, the appraisers account for that. The demand is high, blah, 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 and the time factor, a month after this, because there's still activity, people are willing to pay more and there's higher demand. Supply and demand, pretty much the push factor for that. So be real careful using AI for pricing a house based on what you want to offer,
Mhm.
is really the bottom line.
No, that makes sense. I mean, and especially I've seen AI getting particularly, opinionated, knowing my past, chats and starting to definitely develop a bias on what it thinks I wanna hear.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's one of the points. So you really have to prompt it well. Be neutral, but you know, I don't want to piss off the seller, but I mean, what should I offer? And it's great when you have houses that already have inspections and disclosures and all that. You just pop it all in to help make the decision along with, you can just put in the links from Redfin or Zillow. That's
Mhm.
where it'll go and take a look at everything. Um, and then give it good criteria for following comparables and ask it to uh, value based on how an appraiser would do it. So it, these are crapshoots, guys. It's not an exact science. Um, but having said that, so listings, let's talk about those a little bit. When you can have someone come to your house to list the property, and this is June 18th. Okay. And you're not going to list the house until, say, the middle of September. You got to get work done. Plus, you never want to list in August. August is the kiss of death. Unless you absolutely have to, do not list in August. So this person may come in with this beautiful brochure and a CMA of what your house is worth and why it's worth this. And they'll give you comparables. Well, those comparables are great and all that. All it's telling you is what they think your house is going to be worth that day. You're not listing it for 2 more months. So the problem is we don't know what the comparable sales are going to be that have closed. And more importantly, we don't know what the comparable listed properties are going to be. I judge what to price a house based on pretending I'm a buyer, looking at the market, seeing all the houses and saying, "Oh, that one makes sense. It's priced right. It looks nice. That's better than house B and C." Because if I price it at some high number and the market's come down, you're going to look like an idiot and the house is just going to sit there. Or if you price it too low, they're saying, "What's wrong with it?" So the whole idea is you can't really price a house until you're ready to put it on the market. And that's the most important time to look at a CMA. Right now, doesn't matter. It's like, here's my best example of this. You want to buy a stock, but you're not going to have the money for 3 months. You're waiting for something, to come in, an inheritance. So you say, "All right, I'm going to do my investigation into the XYZ stock. Wow, I'm going to buy that." And then 2 months later, you have the money and they've declared bankruptcy. So what good is everything you've talked about 2 months ago? Same thing with real estate values. They move. They may not move, but the fact is they can move, and you can't price it based on today compared to 2 months later. I mean, when I go into a listing, I have no idea what I'm seeing. When I go to a house first, once I'm in the house, then I can figure things out. The fancy brochures don't mean anything. If an agent says to you, "Our company websites gets 1 million hits a day," yeah, so what? You're trying to sell one house, one focused house. The idea of you need to use a big company is silly. The fact that you need to use a local agent is silly. We are marketing your house. We are making it look beautiful. We are trying to bring people in so
Mhm.
they will give us a contract. They don't care who the listing agent is when it comes to writing a contract. It has nothing to do with it. The listing agent is not there to be the buyer agent. They're there to represent you and only you. Dual agency, it's like having your attorney prosecute and defend you. It's ridiculous. It's up. Yes, in a beautiful world where there's a perfect person representing both sides and everybody's in agreement and it's simple, okay, fine. It happens, but it is the exception rather than the rule. To give you an example, I had a person call me up the other day who was totally unsophisticated with everything, but she listed her house for 1 year with an agent, and the agents sold got the property under contract for a price uh, with his buyer, so he's got both sides of the transaction, and somebody had told her that, why are you selling for that low? It's like $300,000 less than what the place is worth. She got a hold of me. We're getting a hold of lawyers. But I mean, those creeps are out there. I mean, it's absolutely insane what some of these people will do, especially when they're doing private listings. So nobody else gets to know about it. So
Mhm.
they can do dual agency and then sell it to a flipper who's going to give him the listing back. So he's making
Yeah.
commissions,
Triple hit.
3 commissions
Well, that's a
on one
hat trick.
house. There is the real estate hat trick. But a bad hat. I really hate using hat trick for that.
Okay, sorry,
Don't
sorry.
disgrace hockey. And by the way, I was right. Carolina won. So I predict Glick predicts. Got it right.
Glick predicts.
So
I didn't
anyway,
take it.
I could keep rolling on that, but that's kind of unfortunately the latest in the real estate business. It's technically legal, but seriously, dudes, it's just disgusting. I got nothing else. We're 30 minutes. That's enough
30
if you're
minutes
still
in, 3
listening.
important topics. We went old, we went new, we went old, we went new again, and then we went back to real estate transparency and ethical real estate, taking the emotions out of the equation.
For sure.
Well, this has been the latest episode of We Fixed Real Estate.